So there are so many benefits of going out in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In a simple way, we say that we're going to build our iman, to build our yaqeen, and for islah, self-rectification. Some of our youngsters, when they want to go for 4 months and they're working and they want to get the leave from work, so there's this template of a letter which goes around from tablighi to tablighi. There's a few that people made and people use in order to try to explain why they are taking a 4-month sabbatical from work. Because a non-Muslim boss, you've got to explain to him and show him the benefits. So many people, when they want to go out in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then they ask for this letter from us and we give them this template, and then they adjust it or edit it how they want it, and then they give it to the boss, and then the bosses generally tend to understand and grant the leave. So I was once reading a book, and in that I came across an old Japanese tradition called the Misogi challenge, or the Misogi challenge. I don't know how you pronounce it, Misogi or Misogi. If I was to write a letter of leave, my template would have this in it. In fact, I'll start with this. Dear sir, you may be aware of the old Japanese tradition of the Misogi challenge. And what that is that Japanese people, because they're very disciplined and very hardworking, erudite people, so they have this old tradition where they put upon themselves a difficult task once a year. So every single year, those who want to better themselves, they take on a challenge. So something difficult once a year in order to challenge yourself and to transform your life. So for example, somebody might stand in cold water or stand under a waterfall for a few hours, something like that. And then what they do is they give themselves a deadline to complete the challenge. And it's either a physical challenge, like running a marathon or standing in cold water or something, or a personal challenge, like overcoming fear or something like that. And then afterwards, after they've done it, they reflect on their experience, and they keep a journal, and then they share their journal with and their experiences with someone, and they learn from the experience, whereby they identify what they've learned about themselves, about the people around them, about the world around them. And they say the benefits of this Misogi challenge is that it builds confidence and self-esteem, and it motivates them, creates momentum in their life, gives them a better understanding of their surroundings and what they're capable of, and of their weaknesses and their strengths and all this kind of stuff, Then year on year, those people who've done it, they take it to different levels. So they start off by standing in cold water or something, running a marathon. Eventually it gets to something like, climbing Mount Everest, crazy stuff like that. So our Tablighi principle is the same. Right? In that letter, what I would write is, I'm sure you've heard of the old Japanese tradition of the Misogi challenge, whereby a person, to discipline himself, he takes on a challenge once a year and he learns from the experience. In the same way, the school of thought that I ascribe to in my religion also encourages us to take on such activities on a regular basis in order to better ourselves. Because in that letter that you have, the leave letter, you're not just asking for leave, but you've got to tell the company, your boss, how it's going to benefit them. So most of our brothers write that, when I will go, then it'll help me spiritually and it'll make me a better human being and create compassion and all this sort of stuff inside me. So they tend to understand. So this Misogi challenge is the same kind of principle. In Tabligh, we go out, a person who spends time regularly and spends it properly without their mobile phones and without ducking and diving and, having a catered jamaat, just going along with their friends, taking on challenges, sometimes going with the elders, sometimes going with the youngsters, sometimes going local, sometimes going abroad. According to the mashwara he goes, then it'll be challenging for him. And some chillas can be really, really challenging. And a person learns so much about himself and about his companions and, about his deen. And these are things that many times a person learns in the path of Allah which can't be written down, which can't be explained. It's an inner feeling and an inner experience and an inner elevation kind of stuff. So this Misoji challenge, which the Japanese do, is the same kind of principle. That just gives you an idea of, alhamdulillah, how complete our deen is. That, all these old traditions, Ayurvedic, Greek, Chinese, traditions and practices, you read about them and you think, hang on, this is in our sunnah, hang on, this is in our deen. So many things. They might not have necessarily taken it from Islam because they might predate Islam, but they've taken them from Allah's religions. The Ibrahim alayhi salam, Musa alayhi salam, and the Allah Ta'ala. Islam has always been around, isn't it? So it's taken from our scriptures, basically. And alhamdulillah, Islam there is the most complete religion. It's got everything in there. So many times you'll come across these traditions and practices and stuff and ideologies and philosophies and advice and stuff, and you think, when you think about it a little bit, then you think, alhamdulillah, this is in our deen. This is in our deen. So what I was saying is, going out in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of the other benefits is also this, the Misoji challenge. You put yourself outside of your comfort zone. You go out in the path of Allah, away from home. Sometimes you're not with your companions and people that you know, and all these kind of challenges. And that, it just teaches you so much about yourself. And it is really a very fulfilling kind of experience. And there are so many benefits of going out in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hazrat Maulana Farooq Makki Sahab Damat Barakatuhum of Makkah, some of you will know him, he once compiled a list of the benefits of the path of Allah. I've got it somewhere in Urdu, and in my student days I translated some of it into English. So on that, he's got about 150 benefits of the path of Allah. And each one of them, if you think about it, entails so many other benefits. So he's got a list of 150 plus. Maulana Ilyas Sahib Rahmatullah, who restarted this effort, he says, जब अल्लाह ताला ने मुझ पे इस काम के फायदे खोलना शुरू कर दिए, तो मैंने तो सोचना ही छोड़ दिया. इतने फायदे खुले कि मैंने तो सोचना ही छोड़ दिया. He said, when Allah Ta'ala opened up to me the benefits of this effort, how revolutionary this effort is, then he said, I was overwhelmed by the benefits of this effort, and I had to stop thinking because it was just too much for me.